Live right here on the early line on SportsGrid, our producer Joe Frieso, if you could, I'm not sure what our technical capabilities are at this moment. Are we good? We are good. All right. You tell me, Joe. I think we're ready to go. Keith Stewart joins us live right here from the Mountain Time Zone in Denver, Colorado for the BMW Championship this week. The second leg of the PGA Tour playoffs. That is the FedExCup playoffs as we keep it rolling. Keith, as always, we appreciate the time. Last week in Memphis, this week out in the Rocky Mountain State. We appreciate the time here on the early line.
Ben, it is a beautiful morning out here in Colorado for the BMW Championship. Let's talk a little golf. We got 2 weeks to go. Right now, BMW 50 guys.
I think Keith, our apologies. I believe we're having a couple of technical difficulties here on the early line on this Tuesday. Just keep us abreast as we try to get this thing rolling. All right, we'll keep firing through. Keith, let's look back at Memphis last week in the St. Jude Championship before we go forward to this week in the BMW Championship, the opening leg of the FedExCup playoffs. It wasn't easy for Hideki Matsuyama on Sunday, but he did hold on to win the St. Jude Championship to start off the FedExCup postseason. What did you make of Hideki's performance last week in Memphis?
I tell you what, Ben, Hideki, it was really something, because you have to consider how he started his week. The story surrounding him and his team, the fact that he didn't have his regular caddy there, the fact that he didn't have his coach there because they had got robbed over in London when they had stopped over from Paris heading to Memphis. And those guys lost their visas and their passports in order to come to America. So Hideki, with a new caddy, goes out and he wins and holds on Sunday. An impressive performance. And you know what? A good course fit, and a good course fit again this week. We've seen a lot of multiple winners over the years in the playoffs. I think Hideki's still pretty alive this week, guys.
Keith, the top 50 move on here to the advance to the next round. But let me take a look at some of the guys that didn't finish there, particularly in Rory McIlroy. Back-to-back 74s on the weekend. What happened to his game and not advancing? Well, that's an upset right there.
DRS, how about the bottom of that leaderboard? You got T68, you got two guys, Jordan Spieth and Rory McIlroy, and then 70th place, Max Homa. I mean, three huge names, and these guys are well out of form. I don't see how they even get it back. I mean, I was there all week. Rory was hitting the driver everywhere. It was one of the worst ball striking weeks of his career. And I just don't see how he flips the switch, which is a shame, because out here at Castle Pines, par 72, 8,130 yards on the scorecard. It's a perfect fit for Rory. Jack Nicklaus Golf Course, he loves those too. But, man, I tell you, it looked rough last week. And not so much just the game, Donnie. It was his body language. He looked like he was just done for the year. He actually looks like he's been done since Pinehurst, and he walked out of that scorer's tent and didn't want to talk to the media anymore. I think Rory needs a reset, boys.
A difficult performance in Memphis, but it should be stated that Rory McIlroy is still there at the BMW Championship. Yeah. He ranks 5th in the FedExCup standings, did enter the postseason at 3rd overall. Scottie Scheffler still in front. Hideki Matsuyama makes the big move up the board to number 3 in the FedExCup standings. And Xander Schauffele, the 2-time major champion this year, checks in at number 2. So as we see these odds, this is not for this week's event at the BMW Championship, but just the FedExCup winner when all is said and done. Keith, how do you evaluate these odds at the moment?
Scottie is for sure still the man to beat. You can't forget, guys, that next week when we take the top 30 to the Tour Championship, we have that staggered start. So Scottie's not only going to be in first place, but he's going to get a couple extra strokes on the field. You know, last week he wasn't great with the putter, but everything else was. He finishes T4. This week, he's coming to a place where we're not on Bermuda gas greens anymore, so I feel like the putter's going to work a little bit better, but it's a ball striker's paradise. You have to cover the fact that I'm at 6,400 feet of elevation here at Castle Pines Golf Club. There's a huge adjustment to be made, 7.5% of carry. So that means when Donnie's hitting his driver 300, out here he's hitting it 23. So all of a sudden, that 8,100-yard golf course, he gets down to 7,500 yards, 4 par 5s. This is the perfect spot for Xander and Scottie. I think Scottie still easily maintains his lead going in, and with a brand new redesigned East Lake, I'm not sure that Xander has as much of an advantage over Scottie like he would anyone else.
We take a look at the FanDuel Sportsbook here for the odds for this weekend's BMW Championship. No stranger, it's Scottie Scheffler to plus 330 price, followed by Xander Schauffele to plus 550. But how about this? Rory McIlroy, third in line at a 12-1 price, followed by Morikawa, Cantlay, and Matsuyama. Give us some looks there at the top of the leaderboard for this weekend here, Keith.
I think the big two are really impressive. You just go to Xander. He won at Valhalla, the PGA Championship, his first major of his career and the first major of his 2 this year. That's a Jack Nicklaus designed golf course. Big golf course, just like this one that I'm at this week. And, of course, you have Scottie, who's still striking the ball unbelievably. He doesn't like to putt on Bermuda. We're back on POA, bent grass greens. I feel like Scottie's going to have a little bit of a bounce back. Both of those guys are going to be a huge part of this conversation. I won't bet them at single odds. I'll have to wait till the live market. I did bet Scottie on Sunday morning in Memphis when he was 7 back because he was over 10-1. I mean, I'm betting Scottie anytime live. He goes over 10-1, and he's not in a jail cell, guys. I mean, he is that good, and he's that impressive. So at the end of the day, I think that either one of those guys, they're a live bet play. I would not bet them pre-tournament at 6 or 3-1.
Scottie Scheffler still finishing in 4th in Memphis in the opening leg of the FedExCup playoffs. Xander Schauffele firing a 7-under in his final round on Sunday. Keith, the top 30 make it to Atlanta and Eastlake for the Tour Championship. For the guys on the horizon of getting to the third and final stop in the FedExCup playoffs, give us some names to pay attention to this week out in Denver.
All right, my early leans on the early line. Victor Hovland, he's back from the dead. He won the BMW last year. He was great last week. Top 5 in approach, top 5 off the tee, and we know the guy can score. And the other guy is a hometown hero, Wyndham Clark. Yes, he's from Denver. If you're talking about a guy who knows all about altitude adjustments, here's your guy. He played very well last week. T7 there at the St. Jude. So I love Wyndham Clark. He bombs it off the tee, and he'll understand about these greens. Jack Nicklaus, all sorts of levels. It's going to be one of those complicated courses to score.
Keith Stewart, we appreciate the time. Enjoy the week at altitude. More on the early line up next.